Hi, it is Saturday the 16th and these puppies are 5 days old and we are going to just show each one to you just a little bit. I have to tell you, I'm on a fleece blanket that we always take pictures of the puppies in front of a blanket throughout and put it with their mother and stuff like that, and then send a piece of it home with each puppy to help them with their adjustment. And the vote is coming in that half of the family thinks it looks dirty. It's not dirty, it's just a multicolored kind of leather pattern on the fleece. So anyway, if you're thinking we're on a dirty blanket, we're really not. It's brand new. We are going to start with the green puppy. This litter has mostly boys. We've got one girl, so we'll do her in a bit. But I've got green right here, so we'll go ahead and start with him. He is just sound asleep. Not that you can probably tell, because at this point their eyes are still closed, as well as their ears. But if they're holding still, they're asleep. So that's how you can kind of know. Let me show you real fast on their ears, since I've got him. They are still sealed. So in here there's not really an ear canal quite yet. Their ears are pretty thick and kind of almost a waxy, thick texture to them. As they get older, they get bigger and they thin out. And at about 2 weeks, about the same time that their eyes open, their ears will open. Then they're able to see and hear. Right now they are dependent entirely upon their sense of smell. That's how they find their mom and are able to eat and all that kind of stuff, is they're completely going off their noses at this point. But this litter is just doing really, really well. They're growing fantastic. Let me show you his tummy, a little bit of the individuality of each puppy. So we're going to roll him over. He is a marked puppy. You can see right here under his ribbon. Put your chin up. He's got some white, maybe, there we go. Some white right here on his chest, and also right here on his back paws. He's got some white toes. But he is just doing wonderful. Oh yes, I'm so tired. And we will show you the next puppy. Here is our blue puppy, and I don't know if you can hear the rest of the puppies kind of whining in the background. Like I said, they're thinking it's mealtime. Their voices are really cute at this point. They honestly sound a little bit more like a cat than a dog when they're this young. Really cute little voices, and so that's kind of fun. Blue here, he is the little guy of the litter. You know, he was just smaller at birth, but he's growing wonderful, keeping up a good growth ratio. Again, you know, almost double his birth weight. So growing great, but he probably will be a little bit smaller dog at maturity. Again, we'll get a better idea of that by, you know, 7 to 8 weeks as we've watched his growth pattern. But cute little guy here. Growing wonderful. Let's roll him back on his back. He's got a fun chest marking. It almost looks like a rocket or something taken off. There's like these two little base wings and then up the center. Almost like a rocket or TP or, you know, something of that effect. He's got a fun little unique marking there on his chest. His front paws are solid, and his back paws are looking pretty solid at this point as well. So doing great. Handsome little guy. Very fun and very good. Alright, right here we have the brown puppy. He's going to try to eat my hand. We've got Mama out while we do these videos, or she just dominates the show. And so the puppies are a little hungry and wondering where Mommy went. So he's going to try and suck on my hand for you. But again, just cute little guy. Doing wonderful. Let me show you his markings. If we roll him over, he's got some white right here on his chest. Kind of the same spot as Green, his brother, but a little bit smaller, but the same style of marking. But for him, his paws are a little bit different. If you look at this point, his back paws are still looking pretty solid. Hold still, Betty. Barely around his nails on this front left paw. It's looking like there's going to be some white. You can see he's awake, even though his eyes are shut. He's active, moving around, looking for his mama. Let me show you on him too while we've got him. They've had their tails and Dewclaws done. So his tail, you can see they've got a little stitch right here in the end where their tails have been done. That doesn't necessarily have to be taken out. As that scab heals and falls off, the stitch will just come with it. And then the Dewclaws are basically a thumb for a dog. They're right here on the front paws. Those are removed on hunting dogs, and so you can see where those have been done. And he's just doing really, really well. All right, now we've got our little orange guy up, and I will show him to you. He's just a little tiny bit smaller than brown or green at this point. That really can change, but we track their weight and everything as they progress throughout their time here in our home, and we'll, keep track of all that. But he's doing wonderful. He's just a little bit smaller of a puppy, growing great, good percentage of his body growth. They're actually almost double their birth weight at this point, which is wonderful, wonderful growth. On a litter of 7 puppies, there's plenty of food to go around for all the puppies, so there's no concerns that way. They're all just growing great. He is a little bit darker in his coat color, and that will probably transfer through to his adult coat. We'll watch him again as he gets a little bit bigger. Right now, they have their fur that they're born with, kind of their baby coat. Oh, so tight. And that does change. As they get a little bit bigger, they go through a phase where their fur gets really thin, and they grow in their adult coat. When they're born, they're a little more brown, and then as they transfer to that more adult coat, you're so hungry, so hungry. Then they start to get a little bit more of the red coloring to them. But his birth coat was a little bit darker, and so I think he'll be a little bit deeper color as he gets more mature. And if we roll him over, he is looking like a solid puppy at this point. Markings can continue to show up for a little bit when they're young, but he's looking solid. We're not seeing any markings on him right now at this point. Just doing wonderful, like I said. And I should mention too, on the tails and Dewclaws, if you're not familiar with why we do those, it is breed standard for a Vizsla for those things to be done. The reason being is they are hunting dogs. And these Dewclaws that are basically a thumb on the dogs, for a hunting dog that's running through brush and weeds, that kind of thing, it's very easy for those to be ripped off, which is obviously much more traumatic for the dog than to just have them removed as a puppy. The tails, they say that the reason for that is if they're left long, that the end of the tail is thin enough that they can actually break their tail. Again, in just, an active dog that's hurrying through brush and weeds and that kind of thing, that can be a safety issue for them. So both of them are done as safety things for the breed, and they're breed standard because they are a hunting dog. You would think it's terrible, and honestly, I don't even like to think about it either, but they do say that at this age, their nervous system isn't fully developed, and so it's not as traumatic for them as you would actually think. And that kind of makes sense if you stop to think about it. I mean, their eyes are sealed shut, their ears are sealed shut. Obviously, they are not, functioning with a fully mature system there. Their nervous system is still developing, and so it would make sense that they don't have a full sensation at this point. And they really seem to snap out of it really well too. As soon as we get them home from the vet, put them back with Mama, you wouldn't even know anything had happened. And so they really do seem to pull through it really well. Alright, here we've got our gray puppy. He's another one that seems at this point like he's going to be pretty good sized. Again, we'll watch that as they grow and be able to have a little more of an idea as they get bigger. But River, their daddy, is a pretty big boy. And Gray is another one that's seeming, like he's got a big skeletal structure and like he's probably going to be a pretty good sized dog. He's got a unique feature that you'll see with another puppy too that's coming from his dad. River as a puppy had this little dimple in the end of his nose and we weren't sure if it would carry through into adulthood, but it has, and River still has that. And this is the first litter that we have seen of River's where that dimple is carrying through. Gray is one of the puppies that has that unique little feature coming from his daddy. So that's a little bit unique and fun. Let's roll him over. He has just the teeny tiniest little white spot right there on his chest. You probably can't even see it in the camera. It's so tiny and so faint that it's very, very possible that that will go away. It's hard for me to say for sure, but that is certainly a possibility. It could stay, it could fade as he transitions into that more mature coat like we've talked about. As far as paws, this front left paw, the two center toes right around the toenail, just the very, very tip, have a little bit of frosting. His back paws at this point are looking pretty solid. Right here, you can see just a little tiny bit of scab left. That's his umbilical cord. All their stumps have come off now. So, you know, they're like a human baby, that they have an umbilical cord when they're born. And then that is severed at birth with a little, you know, stump that's left and dries out and then falls off. Very, very similar to a human baby. So anyway, you can see just a little bit. His belly button is just healing up just great, like we would expect it to right there. Great puppy. Cute boy. Alright, here we have our red puppy. And he, like the orange one, had a little bit deeper color at birth. So he might be a little bit deeper rust coat as a grown dog. Again, growing great, doing wonderful. He's another one that has the little dimple right in the end of his nose there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. His is a little bit smaller, but he's got that little dimple in the end of his nose like his daddy River. So that really is kind of fun to see, you know, something unique and cute like that coming through. If we roll him over, again, like orange, he's looking pretty solid. I'm not seeing any markings on him at this point, so he will probably be just the solid rust colored Vizsla when he is grown up. Growing good, doing great. They're just really a lot of fun, such a cute litter, and just doing wonderful. Alright, and last but not least, we have the girl of the litter. And she thinks it's dinner time. We're going to have to get this done and bring Mama in. Yes. Kind of a unique thing about this litter is the girl at birth is actually the biggest puppy. Usually a general rule, you can say males are bigger than females, but in this litter, and so far still, she's maintaining that status that she is actually the biggest puppy and the smallest puppy is a boy. So you never know. They can always keep you guessing. It'll be interesting to watch and see if, you know, by the 7 to 8 week mark, if any of her brothers pass her up or not, or if she maintains, maybe she's going to be the queen. Huh, maybe. But she's doing great, growing really good. Got that tongue going, looking for some food. Let me roll her back and we'll show you. She has just the tiniest little chest mark right there in the center, just kind of a little badge right there in the center of her chest. Solid front paws and solid back paws. She's going to stick her tongue out for you. Really, you know, again, just a lot of fun. Puppies are so fun and so cute. And she's going to stick her tongue out. Doing great, you know, growing, developing just as we would expect. Again, on her, you know, you can see belly button sights healing up good. The Dewclaws, you know, they're doing just fine. And the tail, everything's just looking really good. Moving along. She's gone to sleep, gonna flop around on us. Moving along just right on schedule, just as we would expect. Doing wonderful. When we had them into the vet for their tails and Dewclaws, you know, he gave his thumbs up on them as well, saying the litter looked very healthy, very good, already off to a good start, already having, you know, the good round tummies. You do the tails and Dewclaws between 3 and 5 days, and we did them at about 3.5 days. And, you know, by then you want to see a nice round tummy, knowing that they're getting their food, that the mama's milk's in, all that kind of stuff. And they're really just doing great. Healthy and wonderful and active. Just a wonderful litter, and we're so excited about them. so you can see them all rooting around, sniffing around. They're looking for food. Like I said, they can't hear, they can't see, so they're entirely dependent upon a sense of smell to find their mama. And it's amazing. Not only can they find their mother, they can figure out whether they're on her tummy or her back. You know, they can smell that milk and know where they're headed. She can be in a corner of the whelping box, and they can be on the opposite side, you know, and from a few feet away, they can smell which direction to head. Once they get to her, they start smelling for the milk and are able to find the correct location. They're all confused right now because, like I said, this is a brand new blanket. Aspen's never been on this yet, and so you can see them all sniffing around. They're confused. They don't know quite where Mama is. So we will go ahead and go bring her in. Let them fill up their sweet little tummies, and they'll be happy and ready to go to sleep. All right, Aspen's in here. She's got a little grass on her from the yard, so if you see that, don't worry about that. But she's sniffing around, making sure all of her puppies are here. I swear mama dogs know how to count. I don't know how they do it, but they do. So she's checking them all out. Again, she's a little bit confused by this new blanket and all of its smells as well. There, now we go. There we go. Now she's gonna lay down, and the puppies will come and get their dinner. Do you want me to gather them up for you, Aspen, so they're all in one spot? Huh? You lay down? You don't like that blanket, huh? You want to move it? Yes. You know just how you want it. All right, they'd all kind of gone to sleep. She's kind of full. She needs them getting her empty, so we're gonna wake them up and let them all get their dinner. Get in there, Mr. Blue. Get in there, find one. There you go. You get that one, Gray? Right up here, sir. Right up there. Come on. There you go. Good puppies. Yummy, yummy. You find it, Red? That's your sister's foot. There we go. There we go. Ah, now we got it. When you see their little tails come up like this, you know the milk has let down. They raise their little tails up when they're getting a good meal. Aspen has been such a good mama. We actually have to force her outside. She won't leave the whelping box. She's so attentive to her puppies. We have to force her outside to be able to get some exercise and go to the bathroom, and she's always just so ready to run back in here and check on her babies. Huh, Aspen, you're a good mama. Yes. She's a mother that's happy to just lay and let it be an all-you-can-eat buffet as they come and go. You know, some dogs are a little more inclined to want them to eat and then they want to be off and whatever, but she's one that's just happy to just lay there all day and just love on her babies and take good care of them.